Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioners Gershenson,
Here.
Gingell,
Here.
Hoffman,
Present.
Jackson,
Here.
Okendorfer,
Here.
Kowal,
Here.
Kuhn,
Here.
Long,
Here.
Lubes,
Here.
Markham,
Here.
McGilvray,
Here.
Middleton,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Nelson,
Here.
Howell,
Here.
Quarles,
Here.
Biz,
Here.
Cobb,
Here.
Piper,
Here.
Woodward,
Here. Here.
Zach.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
All right, we're all here, many of us up in our pretty green shirts. The invocation today is going to be led by the Honorable Commissioner Adam Kokendorfer. So, Adam, the floor is yours. And I think William has a flag too you can salute to, followed by the pledge. Adam?
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We can bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you during this challenging time. First and foremost, we thank you for the strength you've given people as they have battled this virus and endured difficulties that were unimaginable just a few months ago. We are grateful for the improvements we've seen and ask they continue. We ask that you be with the sick and the families, give them protection and healing. We ask that you be with those who may be out of work and are struggling to provide for their families, give them hope and a way to endure. We ask that you be with the frontline workers and all those returning to the workforce, give them a sense of both determination and caution. And finally, we ask for guidance as public servants. Each of us is imperfect and subject to our own predispositions and assumptions. Give all of us the wisdom to see through those and make decisions that are in our community's best interests. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag.
United States of America,
To the
republic, one nation, under God,
One nation, under God, one nation,
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
liberty and justice for all.
All right, that moves us on to approval of the minutes for the April 29th, 2020 meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Commissioner Lube, second by Commissioner Long. Any discussion on approving the minutes? Commissioner Cobb?
Yes, thank you very much. I have a problem with receiving the minutes at the last minute. I understand people are swamped with all kinds of customers coming into the county, but we've never had minutes this late, Mr. Chair. It would be appreciated if we could get them on a more timely basis. We usually have. So maybe someone was sick or not able to do the job or whatever. But it would be very helpful. And it's also very stressful on our staff because we keep asking, where are the minutes? And they keep saying, well, they're not here yet. They're not here yet. So I did not have the time, the opportunity to read the minutes. So I will not be voting yes on the minutes.
Okay. Any further discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the minutes.
On the minutes, Commissioners Gingell,
No.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
No.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Cobb,
No.
Whitebird,
Sorry about that. Yes.
thank you. Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 4 nays.
Sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The minutes are adopted. That moves us on to approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Commissioner McGilvery, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. Any discussion on the agenda? Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think somebody's got their television set on or the radio. But I do want to reiterate what I've been talking about for a long time. We were not given the opportunity to have the agenda in a timely enough fashion so that we couldn't even sign on to resolutions. There's a resolution that Commissioner Gershenson wrote that I wasn't even notified of. Nobody else signed on to it. And I think as a courtesy to those of us who would like to fully participate, because after all, we do represent about 60,000 people each. I'm going to be voting no on the agenda once again, because I think we should be getting this at the very latest on Monday before the board meeting. We didn't get a completed agenda till after 4 o'clock today. And we certainly didn't get the packet until close to 5. I find that unconscionable. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the agenda? Commissioner Middleton.
Yes, I agree with Shelley. This idea of getting the agenda on the day of the meeting, let alone just an hour before the meeting starts, just isn't acceptable. And so I will vote no also.
Any further discussion on the agenda? Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the agenda as presented.
On the agenda, Commissioners Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
No.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Cobb,
No.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell.
No.
Mr. Chair, you have 17 yeas, 4 nays.
Sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The agenda is adopted. It brings us on to communications. Do we want to do communications, Madam Clerk, that you have first, or do we want to do the presentation by Commissioner Markham first? Let's do the presentation by Commissioner Markham, and then any additional communication that you have, Lisa, we'll do after that. Commissioner Markham, the floor is yours on the Bicentennial Oak Tree Program update for all commissioners.
Okay, great. It's up. That's awesome. All right. So the Board of Commissioners in the fall approved a program to purchase and distribute to members of the community 20,000 oak trees in commemoration of the bicentennial of Oakland County. And how do I flip this to the next page, or is somebody going to do that? We had a small committee.
Just 1 second, Commissioner Markham. Can someone go to the full
Window.
the full screenshot and the full slide presentation? Slideshow. Go to slideshow at the very top.
Or you click this icon down here.
And can we have people mute when they're not on too?
Are you telling me to go to the top?
I think it's Pam.
Okay. Everybody's got it in their packet too, but yeah, we need to have it.
Well, yeah, this is what's being streamed.
Yeah,
It'll be
trying
here.
to make it bigger.
Yeah, so
Pam,
you go
if
to
you go down to the-
Trying to make it bigger.
Okay,
Pam, if
well,
you go to-
while
Go to
we're
the left,
waiting,
go to the left. Go to the left, go to the left. Go to the left. Right next to
Oh.
the, a little bit more to the right. Should have like a little, nope, to the right.
I'm trying to click on that, but it's not working.
If you go to
No,
slideshow at
the
the
big-
top,
up here.
Let's see.
Yeah, go to slideshow up top if it's not working.
see the slideshow, see the top bar where the apple is, and go across slideshow. Click on slideshow next to window, more to the left. More to the left.
The other
Oh.
left.
The slideshow at the top. These PowerPoint file, edit, view, edit, format, arrange, tools, slideshow.
Right
Click on
down.
slideshow.
Yeah.
Click on
It's got
slideshow.
another thing. I'm sorry. I've got it blocked. This software is blocking my,
Oh.
And go to
Is
the,
that
there should be
better?
no-
is that better?
I mean, it should.
I don't know why it's not. How's
There
that?
you go. There you
That's-
go. Beautiful.
Sorry
Good.
about that.
There we go. All right,
All right.
Commissioner Markham, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. So we had a small committee that was going to make this happen, myself, Angela Powell, and Christine Long. And we worked with a number of groups to support this. And let's see. We did it in celebration of the bicentennial. And the reason we're doing oak trees is it's a native plant to Michigan. And it's certainly, it's obviously our symbol. And we wanted to celebrate the bicentennial, but we also were taking a step toward improving the environment by hopefully planting 20,000 trees throughout our county. But we have had to make some changes to that program. So we can change slides. What do I do here? Next slide. Who's flipping the slides? Okay. Just a small fact, oak trees, in case you want to plant one somewhere, they are a natural host to over 500 species of birds, butterflies, and moths in this area. So they're really important. Next slide, please. So we originally ordered 20,000 seedlings. They were gonna arrive and start to be distributed on April 15th. And then all of a sudden COVID hit and everything got shut down, including nurseries and any outdoor work. And so we had to think about what we were going to do differently. We have scaled the program back to 5,000 seedlings, which is a lot more manageable. Next slide, please. Even with our adjustments, we still have 51 CBTs and schools that have said they still want to participate. And, this is in your packet, so I would suggest the commissioners at least take a look through this and know which of your communities are going to do a little tree program of some sort, and you might want to link in with them. The next slide is just a map that shows we had a really good distribution across the county of people who wanted to participate in this program. And I think that was a really good indicator of just how popular it was. Next slide, please. So what we're gonna do is, on May, Amy's gonna have to tell me the exact date. But we are gonna be doing a drive-through pickup at Waterford Oaks. So the community will have somebody come to Waterford Oaks. Everybody will be social distancing, wearing proper PPE, and handing off the seedlings to the communities. And that's pretty much it. I can't remember off the top of my head what the date is, whether it's this weekend or next weekend that the pickup's gonna take place. Is Amy here? I think it's the 15th, but I can follow up and just send a note out to everybody so you're aware. And certainly she's been.
Commissioner Markham,
Yes.
this is, we're having a delivery on the 18th and pickup around the 21st.
Perfect. Thank you. We did have a lot of partners working with us. I just want to acknowledge, including Relief, Michigan State Extension, and they were the big ones. Oh, and Oakland County Parks. They've really come through for us. They came to all our meetings. They gave us a lot of advice about what kind of trees we should select. And then when our distribution plan fell apart, they stepped up and said we could use one of the county parks to take care of that. So I really appreciate it. And if nobody has any questions, that's it.
What's the time? Yeah, what's the time slot of distribution?
It's going to be, I think, all in one day on the 21st.
Okay, what time do you start in the morning then? 5 or 6 o'clock or 8
No.
or 10?
It'll be more later in the morning, probably more like 8 or 9, but does anybody know? Amy? Andrea?
Yeah, the Relief is organizing that, and it's basic on a drive-through pickup process for safety protocol, and they're starting in the morning. They're having certain time slots to space.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Middleton. Any other questions for, we got Commissioner Hoffman?
Thank you very much, Chairman. I want to thank the staff too for all their support in helping get this together, especially once they had to cut back the amount and with the COVID-19. I appreciate all their help too.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Hoffman, for mentioning that. They really did a lot of research to make this happen, and to make the adjustment late in the game was very difficult, and they came through. So thank you.
Great. Any other questions for Commissioner Markham? Final call. Commissioner Markham, and to everyone that was on the team that worked on this, I think it was an amazing idea that had lots of support, and to be able to continue and leave this type of memento as part of our county's 200th anniversary, I think is not only admirable, but is going to be appreciated for generations. So thank you for your leadership, and look forward to getting 5,000 seedlings planted across the county.
Thank you.
All right. Back to the agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any communications?
Yes, we have a few this evening. The first, we received an updated committee list and committee liaison assignments. Second, we have one to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Ladies and gentlemen, please accept this letter as notification that pursuant to the provisions of the Emergency Management Act, Section 10 of Public Act 390 of 1976, MCL 30.410, the Oakland County Board of Commissioners unanimously exercised their authority granting a local state of emergency. Under this provision, the county may appropriate and expend funds, make contracts, and obtain and distribute equipment, materials, and supplies for disaster purposes. For reasons applicable to MCL 30.410, a grant application and agreement has been incurred due to the public health emergency with respect to the coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19. A grant application and acceptance for COVID-19 support funding has been awarded to Oakland County Health Division by the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan in the amount of $25,000. Due to the very nature of this application and acceptance, it was not possible for submission of the application and acceptance for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. The application and acceptance has been reviewed by all appropriate county departments after submission. I've approved the submission and award of this grant application and acceptance. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Board Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. And the final communication this evening to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Ladies and gentlemen, please accept this letter as notification that I am appointing the following representatives to the Oakland County Task Force on COVID-19 Impact on Seniors' Social Isolation, Loneliness, and Health per miscellaneous resolution 20128. One representative from the Oakland County Health and Human Services Department will be Kathleen Forsley. The representative from the Oakland County Information Technology Department, Edward Wyden. Representative from the Oakland County Homeland Security Division, Thomas Hardesty. Representative from Oakland County State Legislature, the Honorable Mari Manoogian. Representative from the Oakland Community Health Network, Dr. Nicole Lawson. Representative from the Area Agency on Aging 1B, Amy Page. Representative from a long-term care facility, Lisa Mumel. Sorry if I didn't say that correctly. Representative from an internet provider and online solutions business, Robert Jones. Representative from the education community, Cameron McClure. Representative of minority groups, Catherine Latache. Your confirmation of these appointments is respectfully submitted. Sincerely, Kristen Nelson, Chairperson, Oakland County Task Force on COVID Impact on Seniors, Social Isolation, Loneliness, and Health. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Can I get a motion to receive? Hi, Joe. How are you? Good to see you. Can I get you to turn your camera on? I mean, not that we don't love seeing you. Right, get you to turn your camera on on the 21.
Karen?
Thank you.
No, please, I'm recording.
Okay, please mute yourselves if you're not speaking. One of those days. 1 second here.
So you were asking for a motion to receive the communications, Mr. Chair.
Yes, a motion to receive the communication moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion on the communications? Commissioner Gingell.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I know I believe this is a bipartisan committee, and I know that Representative Manoogian was on it. Is there a representative from the other party that was appointed to the committee, or is it just singular?
The committee, I believe, had one state legislator.
So it's just a Democratic appointment.
It is one state legislator. There are Republicans on the committee.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing Commissioner Tubb.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Speaking of seniors, I just received in my email a very, very poignant letter from a senior in my district. It brought tears to my eyes, and I wondered if I might have the permission to read it now or perhaps later.
If I can request it later, we're receiving communications right now. So we'll provide the opportunity if you want to during public comment and read that into the record, we will afford you that.
Okay, and I will be able to send you a copy as well. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, all in favor of receiving the communication, say aye.
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 Opposed,
Aye.
say nay. The communications are received. Okay, that brings us to the public comment portion of tonight's meeting. And so we add as an opportunity for the public to address the board, and we ask people to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Andrew, are you there? Andrea?
Maybe we can come back to this.
We can come back to that. Actually, right now, Commissioner Tubb, if you would like to, if you want to use your time in during public comment for 3 minutes, if you want to read this letter, we'll afford you the opportunity to do so.
Thank you. It's from Mary DePlanche. We sit here in Michigan, safe inside our homes. Our children rustle up our groceries, or we use a ship service or order online anything we need. We enjoy watching movies and shows to pass the time, talk to our friends on the phone, use Zoom and FaceTime as much as we want. Sometimes we tackle projects, sometimes we take a walk, sometimes we just lay down for a nap. It's easy. We are 68 and 70 years old in good health, free of other disease, but we know if we catch the virus, it could be deadly. even for us as healthy as we are. As a rule, we've always worked hard to avoid catching any type of cold or flu or virus. We get our flu shots. We avoid our grandchildren when we are sick. Our family respects that we take good care of ourselves, walking daily when we're able, sleeping well, and eating the best diet of lifetimes. We choose all this for ourselves. And like many people in this country, we have chosen this way of life for many years to enable us to enjoy our retirement to the fullest. And we are until now. The reason we are not enjoying our retirement is not what you might expect. We can't enjoy it knowing that because of us, an entire country's economy has been shut down, stifled and silenced. We can't enjoy our retirement knowing that men and women have lost their long-held jobs, lost their companies, lost their once successful, flourishing businesses and storefronts because of us. Because of us, our once healthy retirement fund is shrinking more almost every day right before our eyes. Our church doors are closed, weddings don't take place, men and women grieve in solitary after losing their dear spouses. Little children can't go to school because of us. They can't see our friends, can't go outside of the park. Budding artists have no lessons, athletes have no training, musicians sit all alone, quiet, because of us. Oh yes, children can get coronavirus and adults as well, and I'm skipping this part of the paragraph, a lot of them, but they're not the.
Shelley, you muted yourself.
Sorry, I'm working through this as fast as I can. We in our 70s and 80s and 90s are. The younger generation gets sick, some don't do well, and very few die, but most recover. And that is the heart of the matter. All of our country's humanity is sacrificing, losing jobs, losing businesses, and in some cases, losing hope, all because of us. For what you are giving up for everything, you are losing because of us. We can just stay here, and we will anyway, even after the strictest rules are gone. We're careful people, senior citizens are. We know a minute virus can cause a gigantic risk to our health. So after the phases are passed, the restrictions lifted, the storefronts open, we'll stay home a little bit longer than anyone else, a little shy about the public forum. We'll wait, we'll see what happens, then we'll go back to normal. We can do that. We want to do that. Like I said, it's easy, so why don't we? Why are you losing everything for us because of us when we could just stay here, safe in our homes, married to plantation? Mr. Chair, I'd like to take a point of personal privilege and ask for a moment of silence for one of my friends from the Michigan legislature who just passed away, sadly.
Wait. Okay, are you done?
Okay. I'm done.
Wait. Oh, you were done. Okay,
Now,
well,
my
we can do the
point-
personal, we can do a moment of personal silence. I mean, wrap it up at the end of the meeting. We're in public comment. Let me come back to public comment. I will give the floor back, yield the floor back to you, Shelley Todd. before-
Okay, thank you.
Andrea, you gotcha. Hello.
Yeah. Hello, sorry about my connection was stalled. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine. Is there any public comment?
Perfect. Yes, there's one email submission that came in while the board was on. So it's a comment from Frank from South Lyon. The person writes, I would like to express concerns about the dog lodge at Dandy Acres. They were issued a kennel license through Oakland County without township approval. We believe that this kennel license should be revoked. Their setback does not meet the local ordinance and creates a nuisance to the point my family cannot enjoy the property. Please help us with this. Thank you. There currently are no other callers on the line that are available to speak.
You're mute.
Mr. Chair, you're
Sorry,
muted.
I got it. It was telling me that, and I was trying to find Shelley on the screen. Commissioner Taub, if you want to give recognition to a former colleague of both of ours that passed, by all means.
I think Eileen Cole was there, served with him. I don't know
Commissioner
about
Cole
John.
as well.
Yes.
I did.
I just
Yep.
want to say that we lost a great legislator and a great man in Mo Hood. We didn't agree on a lot of stuff, but we agreed on the humanity of everything. Mo was a terrific leader, and I think each and every one of us are way, we're just way lost without him.
Take a moment of silence. Representative Hood. Senator Hood.
Senator.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing that to our attention. All right. Moving on, bring us to reports of standing committees. First up is the consent agenda. Everyone should have it in front of them. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery. Any discussion on any items on the consent agenda? Commissioner Spiz.
Yes, there was one item actually we'd like to pull off. I forgot to ask you before the meeting, so I apologize.
That's fine.
It has to do with item D.
Item D, the facilities
Under
planning
finance.
engineering of the clerk and register of deeds office. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we'd just like to have some discussion about it, so one reason we'd like to pull it off.
Do you want to, do you want to discuss it as part of the consent agenda or you want to discuss it separately?
Well, if we're allowed to discuss that specific item only as part of consent agenda, I think we can do that.
We could, yeah. No,
Right.
sorry. Okay, how
Commissioner
about
Wypert,
that?
Commissioner Wypert had some comments and questions relative to it. So I'll
Certainly.
cede the floor to him.
Commissioner Wypert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just, and no criticism or anything, I just noticed that all the bidding was done and I think they were tallied March 4th, before the COVID hit. So I just thought, is there going to be any excess expenditures or replanning? Because here we're hooking up a satellite office for the public, and it seems like things have changed. And so is that taken into account? So I'm glad we're doing satellite offices and it's helping the public, but all the planning was done prior to the new changes that are happening for all public access. So that was my comment.
All right. I don't know if the chair of finance or any other member of finance wants to speak to the discussion that maybe happened in finance. Commissioner Zach, can I call on you?
It broke up. Can you refresh that, please?
The question was, has there been any further conversation around the item, the facilities planning, engineering, clerk register of deeds office for creating the satellite office that was discussed in finance?
Yes. Well, we did approve it. And now more than ever, when we talk about social distancing and getting clerk's operations going, we're not going to be able to have clerk staff as closely aligned in the Pontiac office, which makes this an even more important location to help with the social distancing. So we did unanimously pass it in finance.
Okay.
Commissioner Cole, did you have your hand up? I don't know if it was just your hand going. Okay. Commissioner Middleton.
Yes, Helene, we didn't question the extra cost. Is there going to be an extra cost of that remodeling in that area because of the virus things we need to do?
Well, I don't think, again, this was planned before the virus actually to service the south end of the county and make it closer for them to go live. And it's, so the first intent was to reach people on the south end of the county. And now it's conveniently helping out on COVID response. And we're going to have to, frankly, make accommodations in everything that we do and have additional costs for plexiglass and other accommodations because of COVID.
And if I look, on the project estimate, it looks like we're using FNMO resource, a lot of internal work for using in our South Oakland facility, detailed expenditures of what those things are. I don't expect those to be additional costs. To Commissioner Zach's point about maybe plexiglass, PPE, and those types of things, those will be additional, but they'll be additional across the entire organization.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Commissioner Middleton?
Yes, good enough.
Any further question? Commissioner Spiz?
And just for a point of clarification, I think the basis of the question from Commissioner Wyper and Commissioner Middleton has to do with the estimate that's in the packet and was approved through finance unanimously. Is that going to be enough to cover the extra items that we're going to need for PPE, et cetera, or are we going to expect another line item to come in later to go above and beyond that? That's, I think, the gist of their question. Do we have enough to cover the excess that we expect to come in?
I can't answer that. Our county clerk, do you have an answer to that?
So I know that built into the estimate, there's a contingency in there. I'm not sure what the price of plexiglass is, and I've been working with Anna from facilities, or whatever she's in, Anna Rare, and we're looking at the different options for the plexiglass for protection. That would be really the only difference I think that we need. So I don't know if the contingency would cover that. If not, I think that would be, I mean, obviously it's COVID related. So I think that would be something that would be covered by the money that the county already received.
Yeah. Okay. Any further question on this item or any of the other items on the consent agenda? Commissioner Tao.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What is happening in that building now, please? Is it staffed now by the clerk or other members, other people in the county? Are there offices there? I don't know what's there.
Well, we should have a tour. I believe there are some veteran services and probation, community corrections services, probation services that are happening out of there.
Right now, is that correct? So are we going to be taking care of
And
those
we have an
services?
office there. We have the Board of Commissioners has an office.
Okay. Is that a very popular office? Is it used a lot or what?
I don't think it's used by you, Commissioner.
No, it's
No,
not.
I don't think it gets used very often. I mean, it's in our budget. I mean, it's one small room. It's been there for a long time, but it's no. But in terms of the traffic in and out, I mean, for community corrections and veteran services, I think it does have some utility, and there's space available for the expansion of the satellite office for the clerk's office.
Okay, what about the parking lot? Is there ample parking there? Is there ample
Clerk says
parking
yes.
there?
The clerk
Okay.
says yes.
Yes, there's plenty of parking.
Okay, so now does that mean we're going to transfer some people to Detroit? Are we hiring new people?
Madam Clerk, do you want to answer the question?
Yeah, thank you. We are not hiring, we're not looking to hire any more staff to cover this at all. This is, so the way that our office is in Pontiac right now, staff would be sitting too close to each other to be able to, they'd just be sitting too close to each other. So during this opportunity, it allows us to take care of more customers. We're going to be moving to appointment only. We'll be able to take more people and help more of our constituents by having staff in another location, still minding the social distancing. We're not looking to hire anybody new for this.
Okay, so will this be a full service office? So you'll have marriage licenses, birth certificates, voter registration, all that stuff? Or will you just send it up to the main office and then tell them to come back for it?
My intent is mostly vital services, vital records, everything there, especially with having the veterans office there, having the veterans cards that we offer. But again, we'll be handling that office, at least definitely in the beginning, by appointment. So as we make those appointments, we're going to know what those people are coming in for and what services they're going to need.
Okay, so you're not gonna be a walk-in place.
When we open up again, nothing is going to be walk-in. Everything's going to be by appointment as we move to the next phase of COVID-19.
Okay, does that mean in the
All right,
county? is-
Commissioner Todd, can you wrap up your questions? I mean, this was discussed in committee, so if you have, if we wrap up the question,
I'm not on that committee, Mr. Chair. So you're going to have everything by appointment everywhere, is that correct? Bless you.
You mean when we move into the next phase of COVID? Is that what you're
Yes.
asking me, Commissioner?
Yes.
Yes, we're moving to appointment, by appointment only in our office. So we have to ensure social distancing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
okay, thank you, Commissioner. Any further question on this item on the consent agenda? Seeing no further comment, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the consent agenda, Commissioners Jackson,
Yes.
Hogendorfer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Weipert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the consent agenda is adopted. It moves us on to the regular agenda. There's no agenda items under Finance and Infrastructure Committee. There's no items under Health, Safety, Human Service Committee. Brings us the Pandemic Response and Economic Recovery Committee. And I'm going to recognize Commissioner Gershenson to take up these two items.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 2 items on the regular agenda today. The first is a resolution titled Board of Commissioners, creating Oakland County Safe and Healthy Elections Task Force to prepare for elections during COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Chair, I move to recommend adoption of the foregoing resolution.
As a motion to, do we have a report that we have to accept? Do we have to do it? Staff, do we need to accept the report from the committee first?
No report, just a resolution.
Just a resolution, okay. Commissioner Gerson moves the adoption of the resolution to create the Oakland County Safe and Healthy Elections Task Force. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Quarles. Any discussion? Commissioner Gingell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I am just curious why we need this committee. I don't know if the clerk is requesting it or if the clerk doesn't feel that the clerk's office and the local clerk's office can provide safe and healthy elections. What is the impetus of the rationale? Why do we need this committee? I mean, I guess I would ask the clerk, is the clerk requesting this committee from the board?
No.
I guess I'll speak to the importance of the task force. I think we come off an election, a May election. There were no elections in Oakland County. That being said, a lot of steps had to be taken to ensure not just safe elections, but accommodations for a greater vote by mail election. When we look at the horizon of what's going to entail with August and November and expecting elections run in an environment to promote social distancing, the support that's needed to help support our local communities to increase ability to process absentee ballots, the PPE requirement, all the things, identifying all as the resolution spells out, all the things that are related to running an election in the current environment. This creates an opportunity to bring in not just those with a lot of election experience, but to identify and potentially make recommendations on what potential future expenditures that Oakland County can help to ensure that our elections are safe and healthy going forward.
All right, I just want to make sure Commissioner Gingell heard me say. Commissioner Gingell, did you hear me?
I think you said you're not requesting and you're not supporting the board taking up this committee.
I didn't say, you just asked if I asked for it. I did not ask for it.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Commissioner, this is the board generated task force.
Appreciate it.
Commissioner Long.
All right. I think that if the clerk, and I think the clerks in Oakland County can probably handle this best, but another thing I have concern is it's such a large committee. It seems too large. So I'm not going to be supporting it this time. I have faith in the clerk's office and all the clerks with the municipalities that they'll be able to provide safe voting during the COVID-19. So I'm not going to be supporting this either.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you. I actually, again, I'm still not necessarily clear on why we need this committee, but I would like to propose an amendment because after listening to you, Mr. Chair, and the rationale of why, it seems clearly to me like this is not a Republican or a Democratic issue from your explanation. But when I look at the composition of the committee, it appears to be clearly stacked one way. And what I would like to do is propose an amendment that we address this committee consistently in the way that we addressed the previous election committee. So when the clerk's office failed to order enough ballots in a previous election, we formed a committee and we had co-chairs of that committee. It was equal representation, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, wasn't partisan. And so my amendment is that we change the be it further resolved. It's on page 83, that we say that we have 2 Oakland County commissioners, 1 from each party to serve as co-chairs. And then under the we could strike out the language in the second be it further resolved. And then in the final be it further resolved, that the co-chairpersons of the task force would appoint the representatives from their representative parties, and that we would have a representative from the Mackinac Center, since we have the ACLU, the NAACP, and others, that we would include the Mackinac Center that I think is well respected from a bipartisan perspective. And then that we would also include 4 representatives from the local clerk's office, 2 clerks from each party. So, Mr. Chair, I would move the amendments that are on page 83 in order to help it make this a fair and nonpartisan committee.
There's a resolution moved by Commissioner Gingell, seconded by Commissioner Cole. Any discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just want to say that I think it's important that we consider these things, and when we look at committees that aren't intended to be partisan, like the Women's Commission and the other commissions that we put in place. I talked to Commissioner Gershenson and Zach in the last week, and certainly I think this falls into that category from my perspective.
Commissioner Gingell, Commissioner Tao. Commissioner Tubb? Oh, no, okay. Commissioner Quarles is on the list. Commissioner Quarles?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, where is this amendment that's being proposed by Commissioner Gingell?
It is on page 84 of the PDF at the very last item.
It's page 83, Mr. Chair.
83, apologize. Yes, 83. While people are going there, I'm not going to be supporting this amendment. I think we've got a bipartisan committee. It was discussed in committee, and I think it brings there's a lot of conversation about having too many people, and the committee, the minority party recommended an addition of a person, and we incorporated that. And I believe that the group, as presented originally, suffices and identifies a group of people that are qualified to make recommendations moving forward. So I will be voting no against on the amendment. Any further discussion?
I just like, Mr. Chair, I would just like to.
Commissioner Ginjo, wait just a second, just a second. Commissioner Cole, did you have your hand up? For first time? Okay, Commissioner Ginjo.
Yeah, what I'm proposing is 100% consistent with past practice with the previous election committee.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing Commissioner Zach.
So I have a question to some of the commissioners. People were complaining about the size of the committee, and you're adding on position. If we added on another person or two, would you support it? Would it become more unanimously supported? Commissioner Ginjo, what would you say?
I would say that if the amendment that I'm proposing is passed, which is why I'm proposing, I feel it would be more fair and balanced committee. And I feel it would be consistent with past practices when the Republicans had a 14-7 majority and a commission was requested to investigate the ballot shortages, which clearly could have had lots of purposes. We appointed a 3-3 bipartisan committee for that analysis. And Commissioner Gershenson was on that committee, if I recall.
I was.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to call it. Right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment.
Sorry, unmuting myself. On the Ginjal amendment, Commissioners Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Loops,
No.
Markham,
No.
McGilvray,
No.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Nelson,
No.
Howell,
No.
Quarles,
No.
Biz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Whiteford,
Yes.
Woodward,
No.
Zach,
No.
Gershenson,
No.
Ginjal,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson.
No.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 11 nays.
An insufficient number voting affirmative, the amendment fails. Brings it back to the main motion. Commissioner Kowal on the main motion.
No.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'm just curious, first of all, have any clerks asked for this help? And then I would just also like to state that I've always been very cognizant of the different roles of the different levels of government. I've never ever tried to insert myself into local government, and I certainly don't, I know we don't respect it when, or appreciate it when state government inserts themselves into county government. So like Commissioner Long previously stated, I really feel like that our county clerks and the association can handle this. They're more than capable of that. But I mean, I was just curious, what was the call to action for this? Have any of the clerks reached out and said, we need help with this?
Any further comment on the resolution?
I didn't get an
Commissioner Taub.
answer.
Yes, thank you. Two
Commissioner
things.
Top, followed by
First-
Commissioner Ginjal on the main motion. Sorry, Commissioner Top.
Yes, I have an amendment, sir.
Okay.
For the mo,
Do we have the amendment or is
yes,
it a
you
new?
do.
Page
I
84.
think you do.
It's on page 84, Mr. Chair.
Page 84, got it, okay.
Okay. Be it further resolved that the chairperson of the task force will appoint a representative member from each of the following to establish the core group: Oakland County Clerk or designee, Oakland County Director of Elections, Chair of the Oakland County Clerks Association or their designee, Chair of the League of Women Voters, Oakland area or their designee, Chair of the Oakland County Democratic Party or their designee, Chair of the Oakland County Republican Party or their designee, Chair of the ACLU of Michigan or their designee, Chair of the NAACP Oakland Branch or their designee, Chair of the Disability Network Oakland and Macomb or their designee, and Chair of the Oakland County Health and Human Services Department or their designee.
Motion by Commissioner Taub. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Any discussion on the amendment? Commissioner
Yes.
Quarles, followed by Commissioner Taub. Oh, how about that? Let me have Commissioner Taub, if you want to explain the amendment, the reason for the amendment, followed by Commissioner Quarles. You're on mute, Commissioner Taub.
Oh, yes, thank you. Because I think we honor the organizations that we're naming by asking the chair of those organizations to appoint someone, rather than our saying, oh, well, I like Millie, she's my friend and she's a member of the League of Women Voters, so I'll appoint her. So this is the way we used to do things a while back, and I think it makes it much more formal and easier for us to get, people to participate, particularly if you mention the leadership.
Thank you, Commissioner Taub. Commissioner Quarles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question was to find out what was the rationale for the structure that she has, and she, that the commissioner brought forth, and she's explained it. So I have.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Commissioner Middleton, is that you're raising your hand? Oh, okay. I'm not going to be supporting the amendment. I think the resolution as written gives nothing guidance for Commissioner to do the work, and so I don't think it's necessary. So I will be voting no on the amendment. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the Taub amendment, Commissioners Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
No.
Markham,
No.
McGilvery,
No.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Nelson,
No.
Powell,
No.
Quarles,
No.
Fizz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Weipert,
Yes.
Woodward,
No.
Zach,
No.
Gershenson,
No.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
No.
Okendorfer.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 11 nays.
An insufficient number vote in the affirmative. The amendment fails. That brings us back to the main motion. I believe we have one more, Commissioner Kowal. Followed by
Thank you,
Commissioner-
Mr. Chair. I had previously asked if any clerks had reached out asking for such a committee or task force to be formed and seeking our help with the upcoming elections, and I did not get an answer.
Maybe anyone's happy to answer. I mean, I know that clerks are, have expressed interest in working together and identifying ways to make elections run smoothly. Commissioner Gingell.
Yes, thank you. I am not going to be supporting this resolution because I think it's making a kind of a statement to the clerk of the county and the local clerks. It essentially says that we don't think they know how to do their job and that we, the Board of Commissioners, need to step in and provide them guidance. And it appears to me it's almost a vote of no confidence in the clerk, which I don't think is appropriate. The clerk and the local clerks run elections. They're complicated logistical activities. Certainly this will increase the complication, but of any group that is able to execute on complicated tasks, it's the local clerks. The Municipal Clerks Association, I'm certain, is probably all over safe and healthy elections. And I am refusing to put a vote of no confidence on our clerk or the local clerks.
Thank you, Commissioner. I got Commissioner Hoffman, and then I think Commissioner Spitz.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. I echo their same concerns, and I'm not sure you answered the question of Commissioner Kowal either. Did any local clerks specifically reach out and say, we have a concern that we can't do this ourselves and we need the county to come to our aid? Because I'm not hearing that. So if you could tell me that somebody did that, then I might have a difference of opinion, but I haven't been hearing that. It's just more government and it's kind of interfering in local government.
Commissioner Spitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to echo the comments of Commissioner Gingell because they were very similar to what I made in committee. And I'm also very disappointed that from a size of the committee, which I think everybody on this board understands that I continue to push, that having large task force or committees don't always make it the best and most effective and efficient group to make something happen. And Commissioner Taub's amendment helped reduce the size of that task force, which would have been more amicable to many of us Republicans and potentially got a few of us to vote for it. But in this case, it smells somewhat of partisanship, which I'm disappointed to see from this group. But, you know, based on the current format, I cannot support it either.
Commissioner Long, followed by Commissioner Taub. Commissioner Long.
Just real quick, I agree with Commissioner Gingell, and I think Lisa Brown, if she needed help or something came that was she needed help, or any of the local clerks, they would come to the Board of Commissioners. Lisa Brown could have someone sponsor a resolution if she needs something when we foresee it. She's done that before, so I too have confidence in our county clerk and our local clerks. If there's trouble during the pandemic and they need some help, they will certainly come ask us for help.
Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I took the time to speak to my clerk, Jan Roncelli, who for 8 years represented the entire state of Michigan and Washington. Now, Jan said something very interesting to me today, and so I think that we should repeat it. She said, number one, the last committee that was formed was a waste of time. Okay, that's number one. And number two, she said, are you telling me the Board of Commissioners is going to tell me how to run my election? That was number two. And number three, she said, wait a minute, the ACLU, the Disability Network, they're nice people, they're good people, but they don't know how to run elections. But the most important thing she said, do you think I would ever put any of the people working at my polls at risk? Do you think I don't know how to keep people safe in my own, as a clerk in my own township? So I think that, you know what, I don't think, I know this is nothing but a political grab. You're telling clerks what to do when they really, really know what to do. They have wonderful leadership. The chairman of the Oakland County Clerks is a clerk who worked in my township and who's now clerk in Rochester Hills, Tina Barton. And I know she can work very well with all the other clerks, including Lisa Brown. They don't need our unprofessional help. I think this is a power grab and the most political thing I've ever seen done. And yeah, I get it. You want to get elected, but this is not the way, folks, because the clerks will not be happy about this. just as Clerk Brown is not happy, I can guarantee, how many clerks are there in the county? Clerk Brown?
But Commissioner
I'd
Todd,
like to-
your questions to me.
All right, Commissioner Woodward, how many clerks are there in Oakland County?
I don't know.
All right,
Are you-
may I,
Commissioner?
pardon me?
Uh,
Well,
are
would you
your comments?
please ask Clerk Brown how many clerks there are?
Are you done with your comment, Commissioner Todd?
No, I'm not done.
You
I
are,
just
I
wanted-
mean, Commissioner Todd, I mean, this was debated in committee. You're on that. These questions could have come up there. People could have asked these questions earlier. Why don't you wrap up your
Chair,
comments?
Point of order, Mr. Chair. The board doesn't operate as a committee of the whole, and everybody on this board doesn't sit on every
Commissioner
committee.
Gingell, Commissioner Gingell, what is your point of order?
The chair is not allowed to limit discussion unless we call the question, according to Robert's Rules of Order. So I believe a member has the right to
Commissioner Gingell,
speak.
okay, Commissioner Gingell.
We're not a member of the whole.
Commissioner Gingell. Commissioner Todd is welcome to finish her comments.
Commissioner Woodward, will you please ask Clerk Lisa Brown how many local clerks there are in Oakland County?
Commissioner Todd, are you done?
No, I'm waiting for my answer.
Okay. All right. What? No, I will not. Commissioner Quarles, I believe that there's an amendment. I think it's on page 54 to be offered. It was at the request of Commissioner Quarles to reduce the number of clerks, to reduce the number of folks on the committee from 4 to 3, and also to add Nancy Quarles, which I want to give credit to being one to spearhead this effort. Can I get a motion for that amendment? On page 54, moved by Commissioner Quarles, seconded by Commissioner Miller. It's pretty straightforward. It reduces the number of clerk representatives on the committee, and it adds, Commissioner Quarles as a member of the sponsor of the resolution. Commissioner Gingell.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want to make sure I'm clear here. So we're forming a group to help clerks put on elections because we don't have the confidence in their abilities to do so.
Commissioner
And this
Gingell,
amendment,
can you speak to
this
the amendment?
amendment,
Speak to the
Mr. Chair,
amendment.
I'm asking a question. This amendment reduces the amount of clerks on the committee? Is that correct?
The amendment reduces it from 4 to 3.
So a clerk-related committee, we reduce the amount of clerks on the committee.
Are you done, Commissioner Gingell?
I'm just asking a question. Is that true? I'm just,
Commissioner Spiz had his hand up.
Yeah, my question is going to be similar to Mr. Commissioner Gingell. Can somebody please explain the logic of going from 4 to 3? Because it's an odd number. And it actually smells of being a little bit more partisan, because I would expect now they're going to probably appoint 2 Democratic clerks versus 2 and 2. So it's I don't necessarily understand why the reduction in 1. Nancy, I fully understand putting her as the sponsor, but reducing it from 3 to 4 or 4 to 3, I don't get it. Can somebody please help me understand that?
Commissioner Quarles?
I just like to make one comment about the amendment, but I really would like to speak to the resolution when we get to that, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
The moving from 4 to 3 has nothing to do with partisanship. It has everything to do with size. In this case, the intent is to have a large city clerk, a small city, and a township clerk on it. So that's what the reduction of that. But the other comments are for the resolution, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion on the amendment, Madam Clerk, Commissioner Taub on the amendment. Oh, okay, on the amendment. Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment.
On the Quarles amendment, Commissioners Kuhn,
No.
Long,
No.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvery,
Yes.
Middleton,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Which amendment is this again?
the Quarles Amendment,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
No.
Taub,
No.
Whitebird,
No.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson, Gershenson,
Sorry, yes.
Gingell,
No.
Hoffman,
No.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
No.
Kowal.
No.
Mr. Chair, you have 11 yeas, 10 nays.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative, the amendment is adopted. Brings us to the main motion. Commissioner Quarles, would you like to speak to the main motion and final passage of the resolution? Commissioner Quarles.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I listened to my colleagues as they discussed this as, from a partisan perspective, in which it is. This is a task force, and I think everyone sitting here knows that the purpose of a task force is to address a specific interest. In these untreaded waters that we're in now, the intent is to come together with from different perspectives to come up with ideas that can help in our upcoming election. Democracy is important, and we want to make sure that whatever is needed and whatever ideas that come out of this will be shared with the necessary people who need to carry it forward. It has nothing to do with partisanship. From my perspective, it's all about democracy and making sure we have a smooth election. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Quarles. Commissioner Taub, followed by Commissioner Gingell, and final passage. Commissioner Taub.
Thank you. I truly have great faith in however many the number clerks there are in Oakland County. I'm forbidden to know the number. I guess that's holding me hostage. So I'm going to guess that there have to be 60 or 61 of them, because we have 60 or 61 municipalities that hold elections. So I'm kind of guessing, but I don't know. Maybe I can get a shake of the head from Clerk Brown as to whether I'm close enough. I think I am. But to call them dummies and unsuitable and unable to do their own work that they were either elected for or appointed for, that's just incredulous to me. I certainly wouldn't make a committee for the pandemic and include school teachers and musicians and hairdressers to cure for the pandemic. And that's exactly what you've done here, okay? Put the clerks on, let them discuss this at their clerks meeting. I know that Lisa Brown goes to them. I'm sure she attends them. And let them make decisions themselves and help one another. Now here, you are voting against this, and pretty soon Commissioner Gershenson will have a resolution that she will bring forth to allow the clerks to make some decisions on elections. Now, this is very confusing to me, because on the one hand, you're telling them you're too stupid to sanitize your offices and to sanitize your polls. On the other hand, you're saying in House Bill, if I may look at it, House Bill 5141.
Commissioner Taub, keep your comments
Yes.
to the motion, the motion before us, the resolution before us. We'll have time to discuss that other matter later. Keep your comments focused on
Chairman Woodward, I don't like to be interrupted. I know you don't either. So on the one hand, we have us saying the clerks are too stupid, and pretty soon we're going to say, whoopee, they're very smart. I just am so confused. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ginjo.
Yes, thank you very much. Again, I just, as we're voting on the resolution as amended, I just want to make 3 points. I have confidence in the local clerks to conduct elections in a professional, clean, healthy, and safe way. I think they know best. Number 2, the fact that we're forming a committee to instruct clerks on how to run elections and the amendment that we adopt reduces the amount of clerks on the committee is preposterous to me. I just don't understand that. And then I guess the last thing I would say is just I am sincerely disappointed. I had 2 of my fellow commissioners reach out to me proactively, talking about a desire to be bipartisan and working together. And clearly we had an opportunity to do that tonight in a way that past precedent established with the past elections committee, elections task force. In fact, we did the exact same thing when the clerk's office failed to order didn't order enough ballots last time. So it's very disappointing to me. The words and the actions don't line up. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ginjo. Commissioner Lubes.
Hi, thank you. Is this resolution designed to be during the time of COVID and not after that?
I would say that the resolution,
Task force that we're delegating?
yes, the task force is designed to ensure, identify barriers to running smooth, safe, healthy elections. Identify ways that and resources possibly that can help support our local communities to help to support them running the future elections. Recommend any policy that we might want addressed at the state level to help support elections. It is proactive, recognizing that COVID creates an unprecedented amount. I mean, I think we don't have to look very far. We look at Wisconsin and what happened and the disruption that COVID caused in those elections. And this is a way of being proactive, bringing people who bring a democracy perspective to make sure that everyone's able to vote, and representatives of both parties, and additional expertise to ensure that all votes are counted, all ballots are cast, and we run smooth, safe, healthy, and secure elections during this age of COVID and social distancing that's required.
Well, I'd like to send it back to the committee for more information. I would like to hear what the city clerks think about this. I do have a vote of confidence in our county clerk, and I'd like to have more information, more feedback from the clerks.
If that's a motion, I support it.
I'll support it.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion, yes.
Support.
Support.
Thank you.
There's a motion to move and support to send it back to the pandemic committee for further discussion. Any discussion on that?
Mr. Chair, just for the record, I would like the record, Mr. Chair. For the record, I would like the record to show, at least as my comment, if in no other manner, that our own county clerk did not request this from the Board of Commissioners.
Any further discussion on referring this back to committee? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
I know that Lubes moved it, but a bunch of people said second, and I'm not sure who, so can I get a?
Commissioner Spiz seconded.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so on Commissioner Lubes' motion, Commissioners Long.
Yes.
Is it Long? Long said yes?
Yes, I said yes. Yep.
Okay, sorry. Lubes?
Yes.
Markham?
No.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Miller?
No.
Nelson?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Quarles?
No.
Biz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
No.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
No.
Angel,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
No.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 15 yeas, 6 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution sent back to committee. Brings us to the next item, Commissioner Gershenson, the second item on the regular agenda under the pandemic response and economic recovery committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The second resolution is titled Board of Commissioners Extended Continuation of the Local State of Emergency due to the coronavirus pandemic to May 28, 2020. Mr. Chair, I move to recommend adoption of the foregoing resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Gershenson, second by Commissioner Markham. Any discussion on the resolution? Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Would you allow me to share my screen? Is that possible?
No.
Okay. My main point is, and it's somewhat of a question, so I'm hoping somebody can answer it, is, you know, I think everybody here understands and has seen the data and seen the graphs, and both cases and deaths have been trending downward for weeks. All right. So my real basic question is, as the goalposts continue to move, what is the criteria that is believed to be out there to exit from an emergency or state of emergency? Can somebody explain what that number is, or what that data is, or what that point is, or what those goalposts are for coming out there? Are we looking to get back to 0 deaths, 0 cases, which I think we all agree is impossible? What is the criteria for exiting? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because if I can have a better understanding of that, I might be in a position to support this. As of right now, I see it as a continuing moving of goalposts, and I can't get my head around or my arms around why it's required to still be a state of emergency based on what I'm seeing.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Gindel.
Thank you very much. I just think that it's not prudent of us to continue to just abdicate our legislative statutory responsibilities. Our own administration was quoted saying that we reached the peak in mid-April and that we're on the backside of it. It's now mid-May. I don't doubt that we're still not out of the woods. No one's in fantasy land from what may have been quoted, but it's called good governance and operational model that allows you to return to a practical state. And this board can convene at the call of the chair if there is an emergency, just like we could have at any other time. So abdicating, giving up our legislative powers and oversight on a continuous basis when our own administration said that we hit the peak in mid-April, I don't think it's wise.
Any further discussion on the resolution? Commissioner Markham, followed by Commissioner Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Philosophically, it's my opinion that we need to follow the recommendations of our health department and at the county and the state levels. I am going to take their recommendations, which are rolling up to our executives, and I'm going to follow them. I do not think we should remove the state of emergency until our health department tells us that's what they think we should do. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Markham. Commissioner Middleton.
Yes, I guess I'd ask, what is the numbers that the health department are going to let us or recommend to us to get out of the state of emergency? If you look at we get a graph from Beaumont, which shows from mid-April a steady decline, no bump up or anything. It's continued to go down. Our dashboard shows the same exact. The first one is on the number of cases. The dashboard shows the number of deaths. It's all on the decline, and there's no reason for us to decline. Still a state of emergency. We have a pretty good handle of what's happening, and we can make decisions, and as a board, we can make those decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Middleton. I got Commissioner Gingell on for a second time. I think Commissioner Taub, did you have your hands up as well? Commissioner Taub? You're on mute.
Yes, you know, I think it'll be harder and harder and harder and harder to get back, whether you're which party you belong to. The third leg of the stool. We are one of three legs of the stool. We're the legislative body for the county. Obviously, the judicial branch is the second leg, and the executive is the third. And they were meant to be that way a long time ago, right after I was born. So, saying that, I think that we need to take back, not that we would deny any measures for COVID that were necessary in this county, but I think we ought to be taking back our decision-making. We have a finance committee. That committee is supposed to look over things, make sure that the spending is correct. If you give that power up, folks, and tables turn, it's gonna be difficult to take it back. I think it's time. Certainly we will all work cooperatively with the executive, with the health department, but I think it's time for us to take it back. I'm not saying we have to go back to work tomorrow, but we need to have plans. We're not seeing anything. We're not being given any plans. We don't know when people would be able to go back to work. I know we've got a lot of organizations in Oakland County, the doctors, the dentists, the bars, the restaurants, the hairdressers. They're all hurting, whether they have multiple degrees or no degrees at all. And I think we need to see two things. One, we need to take our power back as a legislative body. And two, I think we need to see some kind of a plan going forward. Or guess what? Your budget next year is going to have the biggest hole in it. You could drive a Mack truck through. So that being said, I yield the floor to Commissioner Gingell. Thank you.
Okay, I got Commissioner Kowal for the first time, and then Commissioner Gingell for a second, and followed by Spitz. Commissioner Kowal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to preface my remarks by saying that our County Health Division, the EO, and Homeland Security have done an absolutely outstanding job. They've been very responsive to questions that I've had for them, and I can't congratulate them enough, but I'm just, who's requesting this to be, we don't hear from them, obviously. We don't hear from the health department. We don't hear from Homeland Security. We don't hear from the EO. So I'm wondering if this should come up again at our next board meeting, which is supposed to be May 27th. We need to see a little something to back up this request. We're not really seeing that. We're just being asked, and we're not being given many reasons why, other than the numbers are still there, even though they're declining significantly. And I believe that we don't need to be, like several of my members have said, that we need to exercise our roles as county commissioners in the legislative branch of this particular government. I guess we're supposed to just kind of take it on faith that this is necessary to keep on doing it when we're not hearing from the very departments that are affected by this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kowal. Commissioner Gingell, followed by Commissioner Spitz for a second time.
Thank you. So I just wanted to address two things. One, in bold times, we need bold leaders. This board's full of bold leaders, and we need to be bold. I heard Commissioner Markham's comments and I appreciate them, but there is a reason why we have multiple branches of government. And the Board of Commissioners has certain responsibilities that we are not fulfilling. And for me, I certainly want to listen to the health department. I want to be advised by the health department, but I want to act independently of the health department in the administration where needed to put in the counterbalance that the government is set up to have. So I think it's important that, you know, this is about us fulfilling our role and what we're supposed to do. And last time when this request came, the argument was made that the requests are primarily all coming to committees anyway, and we're addressing them through the normal course. Well, if we're addressing them through the normal course and the cases have started to diminish, why do we need to continue the emergency? The only thing that does is it allows the administration to spend without our authority, so they don't really have to come to the committees, even though I'll applaud them for coming. And it allows them to execute contracts without any oversight of the board. That's what we're really allowing to continue if they're gonna in fact keep coming to committees on part of their normal course. We don't need the emergency state because we're operating almost as if we were in a normal state.
Thank you, Commissioner Gingell. Commissioner Diz for a second time, followed by Commissioner Markham for a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate Commissioner Markham's comments because that's the closest thing to a goalpost that I've heard so far since we've been going through this pandemic. And my only comment related to that is we used to meet daily to discuss issues related to COVID-19, and that stopped about 2 weeks ago. And then the health department was meeting also daily at that time. That also has been reduced to only twice a week, and I believe many of those meetings also have been canceled. So if it's still of a state of emergency, I would expect that we would still be meeting at least bi-weekly or a couple, 2 or 3 times a week or daily in some cases just to have these discussions. But it seems that everybody still feels comfortable with the direction that everything is going, that everything that I'm seeing doesn't make sense for a state of emergency from a county perspective. So thank you.
Commissioner Markham for a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to make a couple of points. One is we're still having about 100 new cases a day in Oakland County and just under 10 deaths a day in Oakland County. And if you listen to the health experts, I listened to Dr. Khaldun in Governor Whitmer's press conference this afternoon, and I've also heard Leanne Stafford say the same thing. We are doing better because the numbers are coming down because of the efforts that we have made. And one of the things I'm most extremely disappointed of across our Michigan government right now is a lack of support for the executive branch to have to make these really difficult decisions in a time that is really unprecedented for 100 years. They're doing the best they can. They're listening to the experts. They have, at both levels, the county and at the state, they're talking to the business leaders, they're talking to the health experts, and everybody is saying, give it a couple more weeks at least. And I think it's our responsibility to send a message to the public that we are in support of our leadership. There is far too much dissension right now and a whole lot of armchair quarterbacking about, well, maybe in this part of the county or the state, stuff wouldn't be happening. We have to be behind our leadership. I really believe that. I would be that way if we had a Republican governor or a Republican executive. They are doing the best they can with the experts available to them. I also would like to make one more point. I have 2 adult children living with me right now. One of them works at Target. One of them works at Menards. They have been screamed at. They have been grabbed. One of them has been punched. It's disgusting the way that they're treated as frontline workers in our retail sector. And I believe a lot of this is coming because there is not consistent support for our leadership. And I'm really, really disappointed that we have allowed this to go on this long. Our leaders say they want us to have an emergency declaration for 2 more weeks. I see absolutely no reason not to support that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I've got Commissioner Kokendorfer for the first time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think an important point was actually made right there by Commissioner Markham. She had mentioned that executives are making tough decisions. That's right. We should also be making tough decisions. We shouldn't be subcontracting that out to an executive. That's part of our role. I think residents expect us to stay on the job, to not walk away, and not to delegate our powers over to an executive. I supported the original state of the emergency. I support extensions. But when you have a graph that looks like this, and now we're going down, at some point we need to take our responsibilities back, and now is the time. That doesn't mean that you let up on the safety restrictions or the PPE or the other equipment that we need. We absolutely do that. We absolutely support the county executive in doing those things, but we have a role in helping to make those tough decisions and not stepping away from them.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Taub for a second time.
Okay, 2 things. First thing, Mr. Chair, I can see people that I don't even know who they are on the screen, and I can't see several commissioners. Would you please fix that now? There's
You
something
have to
called,
fix it. Commissioner Taub, you have to fix that on your end. If you go up to View Active Cameras, if you scroll to the top
okay,
and select View Active Cameras, you should get it back to where you're used to.
well, I don't see Nancy Coral still. Okay, that's better. Thank you for reminding me. The second thing is, we are leaders. We don't just have a single leader in this county, in this state, or in this country, nor should we. We are still the 3-cornered stool, okay? And we are the people. Nobody else in this country represents the people. They are governors, they are executives, but they aren't the people. So if you're going to give away your power to a strong executive, regardless of political party, shame on all of us. That's and
Thank you,
you know,
Commissioner.
I'm not through. I don't want to follow any leader down a rabbit hole. So I cannot support this because I think we are, not that I wouldn't stay indoors, not that I don't want a clean house or a clean community and want anybody else to get sick. But I still feel that we are giving up our power, and what happens when it's extended and extended? The governor's already extended it to the 28th. She's got the ultimate power. So why do we have to do it? Why do we have to do those kinds of things? Not saying that you should go out in public, not saying that restaurants should be open, but I think you're giving up your power. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kowal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering how many other counties in the state are still in a state of emergency. Realizing that most of the counties are rural and they don't have the cases that we have here. But in the counties that have the higher population, such as obviously Wayne, Macomb, Oakland, Washtenaw, all southeast Michigan, maybe Kent County, how many are in an emergency, state of emergency, and how many have been extended multiple times?
Any further discussion?
I ask questions, I don't get answers.
I may be supporting this extension. I think it's reasonable. I think we're looking at a couple more weeks. I think there's a lot of reason for optimism of where the direction we're going. We're not out of the woods yet, but the emergency does allow for, which I think arguably is among the most important, is for an efficient use of procurement powers to acquire PPE and the necessary equipment. And that's a powerful tool that's important. In terms of, I've heard a lot of rhetoric that this board has given up all our accountability, our oversight, our appropriations power. I would just submit That's a straw man's argument. This board has been very proactive, been involved, have a solid partnership with the administration and we have the commitment that's going to continue. And I feel that matching the extension with the governor's stay-home order is more than reasonable, and that's why I'm supporting it. Seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Loobs,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yeah, no.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
No.
Cobb,
No.
Whiteford,
No.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
A big yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
A big no.
Hoffman,
No, thank you.
oh, so polite, Jackson,
Yes.
Okenderfer,
No.
Kowal,
No.
Kuhn,
No.
Long,
Commissioner Long, you're muted.
No, sorry about that. I did it too fast, I think.
Mr. Chair, you have 11 yeas, 10 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Commissioner Gershenson, any further business under the Pandemic Response and Economic Recovery Committee? You're on mute.
Sorry, no further business.
All right,
Mr. Chair?
that moves us. Commissioner Gingell.
Yeah, can I make a request that we actually receive a report of all the contracts and the companies that they were executed with during the pandemic when we were not provided our proper oversight? I know we're getting their spending reports, which I greatly appreciate. I think the other would be helpful if I could make that request of the chair.
I will make that request and have that information available at the next pandemic committee meeting. That moves us on to reports of special committees, where there is none. Special order of business. Commissioner Taub.
Thank you. I have a motion here to discharge the committee.
Board of Commissioners request from the Michigan Attorney General to cease efforts to shut down and
Yes,
respond.
I'd like to postpone that, please.
Okay,
Next
give notice to move it to the next committee,
Yes,
the next regular, the next meeting.
yes.
So without objection, okay.
And then I have a notice,
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Taub.
and then I have a notice to discharge the committee of real allocation of Planned Parenthood funds to COVID-19 pandemic needs.
Okay, so giving notice to discharge miscellaneous resolution 2139.
That was mine, Commissioner Taub.
I'm sorry, Eileen, go ahead, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Commissioner Kowal gives notice to discharge miscellaneous resolution 20139 for a future to a future meeting.
I didn't mean to jump in there. I'm sorry if Commissioner Taub was doing all of them. I believe Commissioner Gingell has one as well.
I
But
apologize.
yes, thank you. I'm giving notice.
Okay. All right. I see one more on here. Commissioner Gingell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to provide notice to discharge miscellaneous resolution 2140, Board of Commissioners restore the pride and livelihood of Michigan workers. This is, in my
Okay,
opinion,
Commissioner
timely.
Gingell, thank you
And
again.
the
That's
governor
should
is
give
actually
notice of
began to
discharge.
open up
Commissioner Gingell,
manufacturing
Commissioner Gingell, you've given notice to discharge. It will be on the next meeting and we can debate it there. It moves us on to unfinished business. Now we're on to new miscellaneous business. Start from the top. Let's see, we have,
The first one's mine.
first one's yours. So Commissioner Spiz This is the resolution designation of June 2020 as National Safety Month in Oakland County and support efforts to promote firearm safety.
Yes, sir, that's it. And I'd like to make a motion to move this resolution forward, and I also like to request suspension of the board rules.
Okay, so Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman, moves to suspend the rules to take up this matter immediately. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Aye.
That aye was an aye in support of suspending the rules. I said vote yes. So the rules are suspended. That brings us to the main motion. Moved by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voted in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. And moves us to the next resolution. I think Commissioner Taub, is this your resolution? Designation of June 15th, 2020 as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
That's not the next one.
That's not
That's not the next one.
Oh, my mistake.
Immigrant heritage.
Oh, I'm sorry, Immigrant Heritage. I scrolled too fast. Commissioner Gingell. You're first on the list here. Move to suspend the rules to take up this resolution.
Yeah, I don't believe the immigrant heritage resolution is my resolution.
Okay, well,
I know that I requested that, but I understood other commissioners wanted to be on there. So
Okay.
I would like to request suspension of the board rules for immediate consideration under new business to designate June as Immigrant Heritage Month in Oakland County.
Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The rules are suspended. That brings us to the main motion, moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Gingell. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
A big yes on this one.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Spiz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Richardson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
A big yes from this first generation Irishman,
Irish woman.
Irish woman.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham.
Come here, baby.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. That brings us to the next one.
Mr. Chair, I would request suspension of the board rules for immediate consideration under new business. And it is designation of June 15th as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
Moved by Commissioner Taub, seconded by Commissioner Long, to suspend the rules. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. The rules are suspended. Motion by Commissioner Taub, seconded by Commissioner Long to move the resolution. Any discussion? Commissioner Long?
I do. It's unfortunate, I just wanted to say briefly, just because I know we're trying to go through these, but when I was a nursing student, I worked in a nursing home one summer, and it's unfortunate we need this day, but I witnessed it with my own eyes, and it was in Oakland County, and it still to this day disturbs me very much. So I hope that we someday don't need a day like this, but I definitely support this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Angel,
Yes, sorry.
it's okay. Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. Brings us to the next one. I believe it's Commissioner Spitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to introduce miscellaneous resolution to ease the governor's executive order restrictions on recreational vehicle parks and campgrounds essential to the state of Michigan's economic recovery. I'd like to request suspension of the rules, please.
Support it.
Moved by Commissioner Spitz, supported by Commissioner Wiper to suspend the rules. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like a roll call vote if we could, Mr. Chair.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, on suspension of the rules, Commissioners Miller,
No.
Nelson,
Pass.
Powell,
Pass.
Quarles,
No.
Fizz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
No.
Zach,
No.
Gershenson,
No.
Angel,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
No.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
No.
Markham,
No.
McGilvray,
No.
Middleton,
Yes.
Nelson,
No.
Powell.
No.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 11 nays.
The rules are not suspended. Commissioner Spitz, would you like to refer that to the pandemic Response and Economic Recovery Committee,
Yes, please.
referred to without objection. Moves us to the next one. This is Commissioner Nelson. Yeah, unmute yourself.
For you. Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to request suspension of the rules for miscellaneous resolution of the 2020 Stepping Up Initiative to reduce the number of people with mental illnesses in jails.
Moved by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery, to suspend the rules. All in favor of suspend the rules, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on suspension of the rules?
Yes. Suspension of the rules, Commissioners Nelson?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Quarles?
Yes.
Biz?
No.
Chubb? Commissioner Chubb?
No.
Wypert?
No.
Woodward?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Gershenson?
Yes.
Gingell?
No.
Hoffman?
No.
Jackson?
Yes.
Kokendorfer?
No.
Kowal?
No.
Kuhn?
No.
Long?
No.
Was that a no? You kind of cut off.
No, sorry. I think I shut my mic off too fast.
Thank you.
No.
Okay, thank you. Lubes?
Yes.
Markham?
Yes.
McGilvray?
Yes.
Middleton?
No.
Miller?
That's a big yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 11 yays, 10 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. Resolution moved by Commissioner Nelson, seconded by Commissioner McGilvery. Any discussion? Okay. Starting with Commissioner Taub, followed by Commissioner Middleton, Gingell, then Kowal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We seem to be getting feedback. Okay, I'd like to read the title of resolution number 16015. Board of Commissioners stepping up a national initiative to reduce the number of people with mental illness in jail. That was introduced in 2016 in a bipartisan fashion by Janet Jackson and myself. It was supported by only one person in the Democrat Party, Janet Jackson. Everybody else voted no. Oh, word for word, this is the same resolution we passed in 2016. Now, let me go into a little bit more. First of all, as Commissioner Markham so nicely referred to, and I don't disagree with her on a certain extent, we are in the midst of a pandemic, and we want our health department to be working on that. This, folks, they are already doing. Mental health is already doing it. The collaborative has already been formed. Okay? This is being done in this county today, right now, because Janet Jackson and I initiated it, as did the Board of Commissioners in 2016. So why are we asking people to do what they are already doing? My suggestion is that Commissioner Nelson get a report on what they are doing, because it's being done. And you're asking the health department to look into this? You're asking the jail? It's being done in the jail. Do you know that there happens to be a psychiatrist from CMH or Oakland County Health Network, along with social workers, who admit, when a person is admitted to the jail, if they are on prescription drugs for their mental illness, they are evaluated and put right back on the prescription drugs. There's no wait. This is being done. Do you know that there's a program in the jail run by Community Corrections? And this particular program gets people to volunteer, and we supported this last year, I think, or the year before, to come into a program to eliminate their drug abuse and drug use. And if they do, and if they stay in the program for a certain period of days, they get early release, they get follow-up for at least a year. All this, folks, this is already being done. So my suggestion, rather than wasting the time of the health department to put together something that they have already done, in fact, it's in the first amendment. Let me read you the first thing. Convene or draw on a diverse team of leaders and decision makers from multiple agencies committed to safety, reducing the number of people with mental illnesses in jail. And Kristen Nelson says, convene or draw on a diverse team of leaders and decision makers from agencies committed to safety, reducing the number of people with mental illness in jail. The same old wording, Janet, that we put forth 2 years ago. This has been implemented. We don't have to implement it again. Why don't you just ask for a report in the Health and Human Services or whatever committee it is, okay? Because you're asking them to develop a plan with measurable outcomes. Develop a plan with measurable outcomes that draws on the needs. Same old things we asked for. It's identical to what Janet Jackson and I passed in 2016. So rather than waste the health department's time, mental health's time, okay, substance use's time, which is part of mental health now, as we know it, okay, we are doing the Stepping Up program. We've been doing it for 3 or 4 years, at least 2 years that I know of, okay, maybe longer. We have taken care of this in Oakland County. So if you're going to waste the time of the health department, ask Commissioner Nelson for their report. That would be a good thing to do, because your resolution is word for word what I put in my resolution, except for, wait, there's a couple of changes in it, but the requests are the same. So I suggest that you take this back to committee, don't suspend the rules, and ask the committee that you said, and I think it's a health committee, ask the chair of the health committee, which is the chair, I think, is Commissioner Lubes, to ask for a report for what they are doing before you tell them what to do, and they're already doing it. You're wasting their time, and you're wasting the time, most importantly, of anyone else in the health department. You know what? I wouldn't ask the health department for a drink of water, quite frankly. They're working hard enough. So that is my suggestion. So I'm going to make a motion that this resolution go back. Oh, somebody's phone. I'm sorry. Whoa. That this resolution go back to committee and you get a report as to what is being done, and then do a resolution, whatever else you need to have doing. So that's my motion.
Support.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Taub, seconded by Commissioner Gingell to send to committee. Any discussion on that motion? Commissioner Gingell, on the motion to refer this resolution to committee. Commissioner Gingell, followed by Commissioner Quarles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make 2 points. One is we adopt board rules that say how we're going to operate, and the process is that things go through committees on a regular basis. When we suspend the rules, it means we're taking our board rules that we adopted and throwing them out, and we're letting things being taken up immediately. Generally speaking, because they're timely in nature. There's an essence of time that we have to deal with it quickly. This isn't something that we have to deal with quickly. This could go to committee. It should have went to committee. We're on a path here that we're really throwing out our board rules on a regular basis every time we ask to suspend the rules if it's not something that's timely and matter. So I support it going to committee because I think it should have went there in the first place. The second thing I would say is I agree with Commissioner Taub. When I started reading this, I started saying to myself, this sounds really, really, really familiar. And in fact, it was. It's something we've already done. And I did contact the sheriff's office and asked if they had been engaged, or did they ask for more support from the board? Did they ask us to help them solve a problem? And the answer was no, very similar to the clerk's answer on the other task force. It seems like we're forming task force in search of a problem. And in this case, it's a problem that had already been addressed on a bipartisan fashion.
Thank you, Commissioner Gangel. Commissioner Quarles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You answered my question. I was trying to get clarity on what were we voting on.
Yeah, we're voting. This is the amendment before us is referred to committee. Any further discussion on referring to committee? Commissioner Jackson, on the motion to
Thank
refer.
you, Chair. On the motion to refer to committee, I think that I'd like to hear from Commissioner Nelson before we take a vote on it. I'd like to hear what she has to say about it. I did want to speak about the Stepping Up initiative and just the history of where we are now. 2016 to 2020 is a long time. Commissioner Nelson is a new commissioner with a background and expertise in mental health. So of course you would be interested in something like this. This is a NACO initiated and sponsored resolution. And we have new commissioners that have gone to NACO conferences and have learned about these initiatives through that attendance. I'm not sure if that was where she first learned about this idea. But I can say that even though we did pass this resolution in 2016, there hasn't been any reports about what's been done since the Stepping Up initiative has been implemented in our jail system. So a report might be the best thing at this point because we have brought forth this resolution before. But I want to also let Commissioner Nelson speak to it to see if she learned something new about this in her attendance at NACO. Thank you.
Commissioner Nelson.
Sure, no, absolutely. Basically, what Commissioner Taub had said was it is very similar to the 2016 and 2018 resolution. And basically, this is just recommitting to this cause. Now, I am completely open from what I understand and what I'm hearing right now that commissioners would like to have more information, to have an update, you know, given that I am, you know, coming in with something already previously started back to 2016, I think that it is only fair that if there's more information that we can gain just in the progress that we've made in the last 4 years, I'm flexible. But essentially this resolution was just demonstrating our recommitment to something that, yes, Commissioner Taub, you did start and lead back in 2016.
Commissioner Hoffman, for the first time. Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. I agree with Commissioner Jackson and Taub and Commissioner Nelson. And I think we have gone over this before. I think the bottom line is we really just need more information. And I agree with all you, and I'm sure all the commissioners feel the same way, that there are too many people locked up with mental illnesses, and anything we can do to separate them from that system is a worthy cause. But it sounds like right now, all we need to do is get a report and then go from there. So if we send it back to committee, I think that would probably be the prudent thing to do. Thank you.
Commissioner Taub for a second time.
Thank you. Commissioner Lubes, I would be more than happy to help you with the names of the people who are part of this, community corrections and people in the jail who all have worked together on this plan, and they can come and give, if this passes, can come and give you an update, and I'm sure that would, and then you can ask questions and suggest things moving perhaps to move stepping up forward. But I also recall, not only was it a NACO thing, but I think we got an award for it at NACO, but I'm not quite positive. I wasn't able to search it down. Maybe Mr. Ward is able to do that. I don't know. But this is a terrific project, and we are so well known in the state of Michigan, the country, for implementing the programs we have in the jail. And yes, there's always room for improvement. Okay, always room for improvement. But I think we ought to find out exactly what we have going forward. Barb Hankey is the expert, not only in Oakland County, but in the whole country on community corrections. And she can fill you in on the stuff that she is doing and the stuff that they do in community corrections. We have a wonderful woman who runs the jail, and she also is, she's like the sergeant or captain or whatever she is. I don't know ranks, pardon me. And she's also able to fill you in on what is actually being done. But I do know that the program when people enter the jail with mental illness, they're put in a separate place. They're not mixed in with the general public, and they're treated for their mental illness. There is a psychiatrist there. There are social workers and psychologists. So I think it would behoove you to bring it, Commissioner Lubes, to your committee and have a good discussion. In fact, I might even attend because I've been part of this for many years. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Cobb, there's a motion on the floor to do just that. That's what's before. I think that was your motion.
Yes, sir.
On Commissioner Kowal and then Nelson for a second time on the motion to refer this to committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Despite the fact that, May is Mental Health Month, I don't see the urgency of suspending the rules to vote on this today, specifically also because it involves a whole lot more than just, having the voting for such and such month or whatever. This is a lot of effort involved in this. There's already been a lot of effort put into it. I'm not saying there's not more work to be done. I know that Commissioner Zach, I believe, was quite involved in many jail diversion programs. Not saying that we're not done with anything, but I do believe it should go back to committee and be reevaluated and go from there. Thank you.
Commissioner Nelson, a second time on the amendment to refer it to the health, public safety, and public.
I would like to support Commissioner Taub's motion for that.
Okay.
To send it to the Healthy Communities Committee.
Okay.
I think Gingell had already seconded it, so.
Well, there's already a motion, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a motion in a second, but I
Are you
appreciate.
raising your hand? Okay, Commissioner Gingell.
Yeah, I do believe there's a motion in a second, but I do appreciate Commissioner Nelson's comments. And if my memory serves me correct, when we did this in 16 and 18, I believe it went through the committee process. We didn't bring it to a meeting and suspend the rules. And I would, for one, really appreciate the support of it going back to committee and give us a chance to look at what we've done and determine how we can move it forward together. Like, this is an opportunity for us to really work together, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment.
On the Taub amendment to send this to committee, Commissioners Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Man, I'm gonna lose internet.
Biz,
Yes.
Taub,
Yes.
Weipert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Hogendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Howell.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is referred to the Health Committee. That brings us to the next item. I believe it's Commissioner Kokendorfer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to introduce a resolution to request that the governor improve the process for unemployment claims. I'd like a motion to suspend the board rules.
I support that.
Moved by Commissioner Kokendorfer, supported by Commissioner Weipert, to suspend the rules. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nay. Madam Clerk, please call the rolls on suspending the rules.
The ayes had it.
I thought the ayes had it.
I did too.
Pretty sure they
There's
did.
only 2 nays that I
Sure
heard.
they did.
There's
Madam
only 2 nays.
Please call the
Chairman Woodward.
On
I was
suspension,
an A, my microphone was muted.
on suspension of the rules, Commissioners Quarles,
No.
Biz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Weipert,
Yes.
Woodward,
No.
Zach,
Wait, we're voting on going
suspension of
to suspend,
Suspension of
wait,
rules.
pass.
Kirshenson,
No.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
No.
Kokendorfer.
Yes.
Was that a yes? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Cowell,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
No.
Markham,
No.
McGilvery,
No.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Nelson,
No.
Howell,
No.
Zach.
No.
Don't care about unemployment.
Mr. Chair, you have 10 yeas, 11 nays.
Insufficient number voting in the affirmative, the rules are not suspended. Commissioner Kokendorfer, would you like to refer that to the Pandemic Response and Economic Recovery Committee?
Yes, please.
Referred to
Can I-
without objection.
Can I comment something just on that or no?
Commissioner, we're on to the next item.
All right, well, I hope it goes quick because people can't get unemployment. So goes to the
Referred
committee. quick.
Commissioner. All right. Commissioner Gershenson.
Yes. So I would like to introduce miscellaneous resolutions. Support for House Bill 5141, authorization for municipal absentee voter ballot counting agreements.
And you're moved by Commissioner Gershenson to suspension of the rules for immediate consideration, seconded by Quarles. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay.
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 Madam Clerk, please
Nay.
call the roll. Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on suspending the rules.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I ask just a point of order. What is the timeliness or urgency of nature to
Right.
throw out our normal board rules and suspend
to
the rules
suspend.
for this item?
The motion to suspend the rules is not a debatable motion, Commissioner. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yep, on suspension of the rules, Commissioner Spiz,
No.
Cobb,
Yes.
Weipert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
No.
Hoffman,
No.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
No.
Kowal,
No.
Kuhn,
Yes.
sorry, Kuhn, you said yes, okay. Long,
No.
Loops,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Biz, oh, sorry, you already voted. Sorry.
Still no.
You're not allowed to vote twice. That's not allowed. Okay. All right, Mr. Chair, you have 14 yeas and 7 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. Brings it back to the regular motion. Moved by Commissioner Gershenson, seconded by Commissioner Quarles. Move the resolution. Any discussion on the resolution? Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is one of the reasons why I think we need to be notified about these resolutions sooner. Had Commissioner Gershenson notified us in a timely manner, I certainly would have liked to have sponsored this with her. So I don't know if she's open for more sponsors, but I would like to speak about this if I may, please. This is a resolution and an idea that was started by a former Secretary of State by the name of Ruth Johnson. Ruth wanted this to happen because she foresaw what was going to happen in elections, where there were more and more seniors and older people who wanted to vote absentee. In addition to that, so she gave the bill to Julie Calley, who's a state representative. It passed the Michigan House. It passed the Michigan Senate. It's already been passed. And it's about to go, the committees it's passed, I apologize. And it's passed on the floor in the House, but it's about to go to the floor of the Senate. I spoke with my clerk about it, and she said, absolutely excellent idea. So I'm going to be supporting this and make a request, as Commissioner Gershenson would be so kind to allow other people to sponsor this. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Gershenson.
I'd be delighted to have you as a co-sponsor. This is a bipartisan resolution, so it would be great to
How
have
about
your
this?
support.
Is there,
I'll co-sponsor.
okay. Is there anyone who would not like to co-sponsor? Maybe we can get a motion to add all commissioners' name to the resolution. Moved by Commissioner Gershenson, seconded by Commissioner Wiper to add all commissioners as co-sponsors of this resolution. All in favor of that resolution say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Done. The motion carries. Any further discussion on the resolution? See, Commissioner Taub for a second time.
Thank you. Now, see, here we are supporting our clerks. They're smart enough to run their own elections. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. They're smart enough to keep their offices clean. Okay. They don't really need much help. And I'm willing to bet we're going to get 21.
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Could you tell me the germaneness of this discussion?
I think we are ready to vote on the resolution. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the resolution.
Hey, point of order, Mr. Chair. In order to end debate, don't we need to call the question? I don't believe the chair has the utility.
Commissioner Taub gave me the signal that she was done.
I did?
You did, Commissioner Taub. Did you have any other further things, Commissioner Taub?
Well,
Point of order on the bill.
On the resolution, yes.
I just am happy that we are all consistent. At least my team is.
Madam Commissioner Gingell, did you want to speak to the resolution? Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the resolution.
On the resolution, Commissioners Todd,
Yes.
Wypert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okenderfer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Boom,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvery,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Pass.
was that a pass, did you say?
Yes, a pass.
Okay, thank you. Nelson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Quarles,
Yes.
Fizz,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes, I've never passed. I just wanted to try it out once.
You can tell me later how you liked it. Okay, Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Yay, sufficient number voted in the affirmative, the resolution's adopted. That moves us on to the next miscellaneous resolution. I think it's Commissioner Miller.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to introduce miscellaneous resolution. Board of Commissioners support to protect workers in the workplace as the economy reopens, referred to Pandemic Response and Economic Recovery Committee.
Referred without objection.
Thank you.
Moves to the next one. Commissioner Markham. I believe it's on page 71.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to introduce miscellaneous resolution for the Board of Commissioners to waive the delinquent fee for Oakland County dog licenses provided by the Oakland County Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center and refer it to the Health, Safety, and Human Services Committee.
Referred without objection. Commissioner Gershenson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to introduce miscellaneous resolution that is about the creation of a community cats pilot program, and I would also like to refer it to committee, to the health committee.
Referred without objection. You have a second one.
And then I would like to also introduce a resolution to perform a shelter assessment of the Oakland County Animal Shelter and Pet Adoption Center and refer that to committee as well.
Great, thank you. And then we have another one. Commissioner Gershon, can you introduce this one as well? The next one?
Sure. I'd be honored to introduce a declaration of support of June 5th, 2020 as National Gun Violence Awareness Day in Oakland County. And we should all wear orange.
Referred to the Health Committee, the Health, Public Safety, and Public Services Committee without objection.
Right.
All right. I believe that's all the resolutions. Commissioner Gingell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a new business item, I guess I would like to request the chair get an opinion from the Corporation Counsel and/or staff regarding, is a motion to suspend the rules debatable? Historically, I always thought it was not debatable, but I believe a number of months ago or early on, there was a memo published that said that it was a debatable motion. And then tonight, we were told it's not a debatable motion. So I would like to just get clarity from my caucus on the motion to suspend the rules. Is it a debatable motion or is it not? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have staff research that to verify one way or another.
Thank you. I believe they have, but thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have any resolutions that were not introduced? Okay. And seeing none, I'll make sure here. Brings us to announcements. Any announcements? No announcements. We're going to adjourn to June 11, 2020, 9:30 a.m. I call the chair.
Mr.
I
Mr.
thought
Chair,
we had one
point-
May
I thought-
27th.
I thought there was May 27th. was
right,
there
yes.
not?
I thought you had a May 27th meeting.
Yep. Sorry. Well,
Thank you.
yes, we'll adjourn to May 27th or call the chair. We will probably be having a special meeting next week to take up some matters that are going to come up in committees next week. So, but until then, Commissioner Tubb?
Yes, would you please tell us when next week? Because some of us do have busy schedules, even though we're stuck inside. So if that's going to be called, we'll have to start juggling other meetings or other appointments.
Yes, we will get it decided by the morning tomorrow. Commissioner Powell?
Our meeting on the 27th, you said 9:30? Or is that 7?
That's the one scheduled. I think that one will likely get canceled in exchange for the meeting we'll have next week.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna, and you'll let us know about our committee meetings too, right? Okay, thank
Correct.
you, sir.
Any further questions? Seeing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Sweet dreams, stay healthy.
All right. Kristen, I'd like your kitty cat. I'd like your kitty, Kristen.
Yeah, somehow they just make their way in the